Hi everyone, Rabbi Rosen here. Thank you so much for joining me. This Shabbat is known as the Shabbat of Remembrance, Shabbat Zachor. In addition to the regular Torah reading of Tetzaveh, we also append an additional reading from the book of Deuteronomy that describes the attack of the Amalekites, a nation that attacks the Israelites in the rear of the camp where they are the weakest and most vulnerable. The women and the children are the ones specifically targeted. And we are told to remember Amalek for all generations. By tradition, Haman, the villain of the Esther story and the Purim experience, is the descendant of Amalek, and so it makes a certain degree of sense. Here is an individual who in his age wishes to launch a genocidal attack against the Jewish community of Persia and to not allow any Jews to remain alive. The experience of the Purim story certainly rings a very terrible bell of familiarity with the October 7th attack of Hamas upon the state of Israel. There again, deliberately targeting civilians, children, women, the vulnerable. It did not matter to the attackers. And while there is so much in this modern experience that causes us to stand up and take note of what occurred back then, it is not, in my mind, sufficient to simply note the historical kinds of parallels. We also should be digging into some of the experience of the psyches of those who would do us or any other people great harm. In my mind, in this reading this year, I'm struck by how just incredibly egotistical the villains of the story actually are. It is the vanity of an Achashverosh, somebody who can never get enough admiration, enough good food and riches and wealth and inebriation. One wonders how he could imagine ever seeing anything outside of his own painfully obvious needs. And Haman, the evil minister of Persia, was so egotistically oriented that he always had to have the obedience of everyone else, and even the slightest hint of disobedience would cause him to fly into a rage, hence the genocidal outcome of what he would like to do. Though that plan is foiled, not only by the bravery of Esther and Mordechai, it is also foiled by their selflessness, their desire to save their people, the willingness to state and to answer the call, who knows but that you, specifically Esther, were created and brought into this world for a time such as this. It is when we are able to see beyond ourselves, when we are able to see the needs of a people, the values for which we stand, the capacity that we all have as Jews, as a nation, as a civilization to make a statement to the world at large, something that says we are here to be agents of tikkun, of repair, and all of us must take part in this if we are to be what we are destined to be. When we see beyond the immediacy of our own lives, that is when greatness begins to happen. That is what ultimately saves the Jews of Persia. That is what makes Am Yisrael Chai, a Jewish people, strong and alive and vibrant. That is what will help us through the dark days that we have in our own experience from these past several months and year now. So let us look forward to living those lives of bravery, of selflessness, of care and concern to make our people the strongest, most moral, most capable of becoming ever greater in the depth of what we hold spiritually to be at the depth of life. Let us be what we are destined to be. And then we will have a Purim Sameach, a very happy Purim indeed. Shabbat Shalom.